De Bruyne's corner. Haaland! Goal! Salah. It's Mo Salah. It's Mo Salah! Absolutely sensational!
I'm alive. Welcome back to another deadline stream. It's Gameweek 30. We're into the 30s now. Happy birthday to FPL when it's 30th. How are we doing today? Welcome back for another deadline stream. Oh man, I've been going so back and forth with my team this week. I'm going to sell Haaland. I'm going to sell Haaland during this stream. And I'm going to sell Rice probably, almost certainly. And I'm going to sell Rodgers. I think I'm just going to go for it this week. Like, did you guys see how many players are out for Spurs? The extent of that injury list is absolutely crazy. Let me try and find it. I tweeted it yesterday, and it's just, I just feel like I should just target that fixture. It's got to be an opportunity. But I don't know. Is anyone doing the Haaland to Salah swap? Like, look at this injury list. Did that work? So they've got Van der Ven, Romero, Dogie Davies, Palhinha, Kudus, Bentancur, Odebert, Bergval, Madison, Kulusevski, and then Gallagher and Basuma are also doubts for Spurs. So I think I'm going to go for it. Ekitike will come in, Salah will come in. And then my third move, originally I was looking at O'Reilly. I'm actually going to start O'Reilly to Tete. And then that at least means I've got a secure defence this week, because if Anderson doesn't play or O'Reilly doesn't play, then I could be in trouble and down to 10 again. Whereas if I do Tete, I've definitely got a defender, and also I'm like secure in 31. Like, if Mukiele's out in 31, then I'm going to have to spend a defender transfer. So there's pros and cons, but after going back and forth on it, I think I'm just going to push it and bring in Ekitike, Salah and Tavernier and just target the good fixtures. Like, they've got Spurs home, Liverpool. And then Tavernier, I think, is such a good pick. Like, he hit the post twice last week. Owners was so unlucky there. It was like 1.47 XGI, blanked. Edger, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you very much, Edger. Thanks for the support, mate. Appreciate you. Wirtz is a great shout. I'm actually not so sure on Wirtz. I wouldn't be bringing him in. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start this one. I know that FPL Joe's got him. He says, have you seen what Raya's wife has posted on Instagram 15 hours ago? Potentially going into labour. I did see that, but then there's... Let me try and find it. Someone snapped a photo. And Raya is with the team. Let me see if this will work. So there he is. Trossard was the only one I think that wasn't seen with the squad. So as it stands, Raya is with the team. Maybe you'll get a phone call like she's going into labour, and then maybe Raya doesn't play. I don't know. I'm not spending a goalkeeper transfer. Definitely not. Dubravka will come in if need be. But that would be some bloody excellent timing if the Ryers have their baby in a blank game week. Congratulations to them in advance. Ryers wearing new merch. Fair enough. Gakpo, yeah, he got the rest in the Champions League. But I've had him twice this season. He was shocking for me, so I'm personally not going for him. I'll turn the music down a bit. Sorry about that. Hopefully that's better now. Bamahua says, best defender transfer if I'm wildcard in 32. You've got Gabriel, Timber and O'Reilly. Definitely Van Dijk. I would say Van Dijk number 1, maybe Senesi number 2, and then Anderson. What do you guys think? Does Anderson come back into the 11 for Fulham? Obviously it was illness, that's why he didn't play last game week. And then he started in the FA Cup and they got knocked out. So does he start against Forest, or is he going to get another blank? Where's Teddy? He's around. I've just shut him out at the moment, but he'll probably start scratching at the door in about an hour and I'll bring him in. You reckon Anderson? This is Fulham's Anderson, not... You spelt it the Forest Anderson. I'm talking about Fulham's Anderson. Marcus, thanks for the 43 months. He says, Haaland and Rice to Salah, João Pedro and bench Wilson and Anderson. Oh, this is the big question. Like, it completely boils down to Haaland versus Salah. Like, is there a world where Haaland doesn't start? Is there a world where Salah doesn't start? I think both of those are possible. Maybe Haaland's slightly less likely to start, but they both are likely to start than not. I think those moves are good. I do like them. It's just really hard to get a good read on the Haaland versus Salah thing, because obviously Salah's not been doing well this season, but then he's got Spurs home and they've got like 12 players flagged. So I like the moves, Marcus. Guess Ekatike's minutes. Yeah, what do you guys think Ekatike's minutes for this game? Are you saying a cameo off the bench, or are you saying he starts and gets like 80? I think he played 90 in the Champions League, so I would expect an early sub. Maybe 75? 71, maybe 72, that's specific. Yeah, I think an early sub, unless the game's not wrapped up, but I feel like... I mean, have you seen the bookies odds? They should have this one wrapped up like early enough for an Ekatike sub. 2.8 projected goals now. It's gone up. It was 2.5 before yesterday's press conferences. Liverpool's clean sheet odds have also gone up. So Arsenal top this week, 52%. Liverpool's second. Then Brentford, Man United, Brighton, Bournemouth, City. And yeah, 2.8 projected goals for Liverpool. Brentford, City, Chelsea and Man United joint second, and then Arsenal and Bournemouth in 1.9. So I don't know, it's definitely a fixture to target, but it is definitely a gamble. It's just awkward timing because of the Champions League. Maybe Slot will look at this and think, you know, I could start Ngumoa and, you know, left wing Gakpo up top, and then Ekatike misses out, or maybe, I don't know, Zoboslai plays right wing over Salah, but maybe he just thinks, let's just get the goals, get the 3 points, and then I'll bring them off. Bringing João Pedro or Thiago. If I was picking either, I'd say Thiago, even though João Pedro is more in form, just because of the fixtures, but I think both are great. I'd love to have João Pedro this week. I mean, if you had to pick one, João Pedro or Ekatike this week, who would you go, guys? Obviously, João Pedro is in disgusting form, but Ekatike's got the fixture. So if you were bringing one in, who would it be? I guess it's form versus fixtures. Dave says, hey Oscar, Haaland and Gw to João Pedro and Ekatike, or Gw and Rogers to Ekatike and Stack. The first option leaves my team better for 31. Yeah, I like the first one more. The first one's better, I would say. Yeah, I don't mind that. I did look at that as well, because I've got Mane, so I did look at the João Pedro Ekatike combo. I think that's good moves, Dave. I like the first combination more. Oh, you're all saying João Pedro? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I would rather Ekatike, honestly. Extreme says, as a Spurs fan, Ekitike, we always concede in the first half, so the early sub doesn't matter. No worries, Steve. Yeah, that's another question. Do you captain Ekitike? Lewis says, I would bring in Ekitike and captain Ekitike. Let's do a captain poll then. Who's your captain? So we'll go Haaland, Bruno, Ekitike. I think I'm going to have to leave Salah off just because of ownership. But I'll put other comment in chat. So, yeah, who's your captain? Like, I'll show you my moves. It does look really good for this week, but it totally comes down to Haaland. Like, if Haaland starts and smashes it, then it could be killer, but maybe it won't matter if Ekitike does well. So it'd be Haaland to Ekitike. It would be Rice to Salah. And then the third move, because I'm 0.5 mil short, is either O'Reilly to Tete. That one is the safer one, but less upside. So, like, if I do that, I'm safe for this week in terms of having a defence. Like, even if Anderson doesn't start again, I've got Tete. I think one of Anderson or O'Reilly start, personally, but it might be wrong. But if that's true, then I could leave O'Reilly in. And the third move would be Rodgers out. And this is the week where Rodgers probably finally does something. To Tavernier. So then that would be the team. And it would be a 3-5-2. On paper, I don't know, what do you guys think? What would you do? Obviously, I could just roll. Let me go back to my team. I could even just roll. Like, that does look fine. There's nothing wrong with that, really. Harsh says, hello, Oscar. I've got Gabriel, Timber, O'Reilly, Van Dijk, Anderson, Bruno, Anderson, Rice, Wilson, Semenyo. What would you suggest this week? I've got 2 free transfers and when to trigger the wildcard. Don't have free hit. I would wildcard. I'm looking at 32 for the wildcard because then we know who's going to double in 33. These are the potential doubles, or the most likely as it stands, but it could change. So wildcard 32. What would you do this week? So Gabriel, Timber, Riley, Van Dijk, Anderson, Bruno. I would roll this week if I were you. Yeah, I would roll and bench Anderson, and then what have you got in midfield? Bruno, Anderson, Rice, Semenyo. I would bench the 2 Andersons if I were you, and roll. And then you've got 3 free transfers for the blank and 31. Bellman says, I've got João Pedro. Good luck all this week. Thank you, Bellman, for the super chat. Oh, sorry, you hate João Pedro. I thought it said you have. Yeah, I hate João Pedro as well, mate. He's been an absolute killer. Like, last game week, genuinely rattled me. I just switched off and I was like, I can't be arsed with this. I didn't even bother doing transfer plans video because I just couldn't believe how badly the game week went. Have you guys ever had a game week like that where you're just like, this is shocking, I'm going to go get some air or do something else because this is so bad. It was one of those weeks where like everything went wrong last week. Look at my score, 41. I didn't even have a full 11. O'Reilly and Anderson didn't play. The only returns were like Raya and Gabriel, basically. Bruno got the assist, but he was over 100% EO. I had Haaland captain, blanks everywhere. Rice even went 13 to 11 DEFCONs and missed out. Honestly, it was one of those weeks. Like, it took so long and so much work to get top 10k, and then it just one bad week completely undoes it. So anyway, it is what it is. So I've been a bit off the radar. But I'm actually going to get into beekeeping, and you probably think I'm losing the plot here, but I've really wanted to for a long time. I'm going on a tangent here, but I've always been really interested by the idea of beekeeping, and we've got a bit of space in the garden now. Now that me and Miss Focal have moved, so I've been spending loads of time just researching that. So I've like paid the deposit on a hive and everything. So in the summer, once FPL finishes, I'll start beekeeping. So that'll be fun. I'll make my own honey. Or they make the honey and I'll steal it. I don't think I'll do beekeeping content, but that'll be like a fun thing to do as a hobby in the background. Prince Farouk says, hey Oscar, welcome back for another stream. He says, my team is Raya, Gabriel, Anderson, Van Dijk, Tavernier, Dango, Bruno, Sarr, Ekitike, Haaland, Thiago, benches, Dubravka, You're thinking of rolling. Okay, so yeah, I would roll. Your team looks great. Honestly, you've got a great team. That's definitely a roll. FPL Honey. So yeah, that'll be fun. I can't wait for that. But that'll be like July that I'll get the beehive, or the nucleus it's called, where they give you like a hive in like a mini hive. But yeah, I hate João Pedro as well. Marty says, hi Oscar, happy weekend. I had a disastrous game week last week and need a good one. What are your changes? Your team's similar to mine. You've got 2 transfers. So I'm looking at doing Haaland to Ekitike, Rice to Salah, and then Rodgers to Tavernier. What's Tom doing? I don't actually know. So he tweeted last night that I think he said he was going to look at Ndiaye to Tavernier. He's already got Zoboslai as well, which makes Salah a bit more awkward. So I don't think he's going Salah. I think he might just do Ndiaye to Tavernier. Oscar, Haaland is going to be benched because Rob T's goal projections for City have dropped off a cliff. Well, that could be for a number of reasons. Let me have a look at his tweet. Did he post just now? Minus 0.06. I mean, that's not that drastic. Or maybe that's just... Let me look at this properly. So, final update. Betting markets ahead of today's deadline. Some of the changes... So, Liverpool went up 0.16. City went 0.06. So, that's not... I mean, when Haaland was benched last time, when Haaland and Foden were benched, I think it was more like a 0.2 drop. So, I don't know for sure what that indicates, but... I mean, given that I'm looking to sell Haaland, obviously that's like encouraging, but it might not be indicative. We'll try and track that over the deadline, the bookies' odds and how they move, because they seem to get inside early information and they often know stuff, which is why the odds plummet when a player's benched. So we'll track that during the stream. I'll do my best to keep an eye on that, because maybe it'll fall even further. There's a guy on the FPL Analytics Discord called Moose, and he's built like his own thing that tracks the bookies' odds. So I'll see if he posts anything, or maybe I'll ask him. I've been bothering him the last couple of days to ask about the movement on Liverpool odds, and I'm sure he's tracking City odds as well. It was down 0.4. There you go. So it was 0.4, and that's only 0.06. So it's not necessarily indicative of anything. So yeah, to answer your question, Marty, yeah, I'm looking at Ekitike, Salah and Tavernier in. Mark says, hi Oscar, what do you think I should do? We've got one free transfer, 1.8 mil. So he's got Raya, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Hill, Keenan and Step, okay, and Mbumo, Dango, Rice, Bruno Anderson, Haaland, Thiago. So what is that? And you've got 1.8 mil on the bank. It's a tricky one. So who's your other striker? Have you forgot someone there? You can't just have Haaland and Gw. Did you forget someone? Because I think it's a 3-5-2, isn't it? And Mbumo, Dango, Rice, Bruno Anderson, Haaland. Oh, Haaland, sorry, I missed Thiago there. So yeah, I'd just play a 3-5-2 and roll if I were you, Mark. You play Gabriel, Van Dijk and Hill. You play Mbumo, Dango, Rice, Bruno Anderson, Haaland, Thiago and roll. Obviously, it's up to you about selling Haaland, but I think if you can afford it, there is obviously the Ekitike and Salah thing to consider if you can do it in 2 moves. I wouldn't do it for a -4. Like if I only had 2 transfers, then I wouldn't be getting Salah. It's just come down to the fact that I can afford it for free. Otherwise, I think it's probably not worth it. But if you can afford those 2 for free, Ekitike and Salah, I would consider that. Obviously, João Pedro and Salah also works, which you should be able to afford. I'm personally going for it, Ekitike and Salah, but I think it's... You'll get really like I think the majority won't buy Salah, to be honest with you. So I don't blame anyone that just keeps Haaland. I think that's perfectly fine. Captain poll is Bruno top 41%, and then it's Haaland 28%, Ekitike 20%, 10% other. So who's the other people are going for? Salah, Thiago. Hutchman says, do I bench Hill or O'Reilly? Just because of the uncertainty of minutes, I would bench O'Reilly and start Hill. Like, Hill's got Burnley, he's great for Defcons. Only Senesi's better for Defcons per 90 among defenders. I was looking at it last night because I could actually go for him. So if we change it to like starts a minimum of 40% of games. There we go. 12.13 Defcons per 90 for Senesi, 11.28 for Hill. Oh yeah, some exciting news on the website. Just literally now launched a brand new page called Team of the Week. You know, like we have the scout selection on every stream. I've now got my own version of that on FPL page, and it's also in the Focal app. It's already live in the app. You don't even have to update it. And this is using FPL reviews projections. So it's basically the best possible team each week based on the projections. And that's how the Gameweek 30 team looks. I even did away kits for all teams. Not that it's useful for anything, but it's just like a fun little thing about it. The kits took me so bloody long. So I did all the home kits, and then I was like, I'll do away as well, just for the toggle. And then I was like, I need to do keepers as well. So I ended up doing, well, how many is that? 30 kits? No, 60 kits. 50 kits? I don't know. 50 kits. Anyway, so that's there. How many players have you guys got from the team? So it's Raya, Gabriel, Saliba, Senesi, Bruno, Salah, Sharda, Zoboslai, Tavernier, Ekitike, and Thiago. Oh, and the other thing is it automatically updates itself based on team news and injuries and stuff like that. So if you look at it on Monday and then look at it again on Friday next week, you'll see 2 different teams. So that's cool. So that's on the site as well. Like, who's dropped out? Dango was in here, but now Zoboslai's in. Timber was in there, but Saliba's come in. Maybe that's just because Timber's minutes have potentially dropped a little bit. Anyway, yeah, that's the team. That's on the FPL page and in the Focal app. So if you want to install it, FPL Focal in the App Store. The app's free. I forgot to check how many players I had. So if I make those moves, I will have Raya, Gabriel, Bruno, Salah, Tavernier, Ekitike. I'd have 7 if I make those transfers. Lord Reggae says, who do I bench? Haaland and Bumo, Cherky or Rice? Well, Cherky is probably the ropiest one for his potential start, so I would say you bench Cherky. I definitely wouldn't bench Mbumo or Rice with a home fixture, and you don't bench Haaland. How we doing, Mo? Good to see you, mate. Just got the notification you liked my tweet on the stream. Lucidus said, thank you for the 32 months. He says, GG Oscar. Are you not streaming, Mo? Or are you streaming later? Lucidus says, GG Oscar, take the hit for the moves to Haaland to Salah. Are you asking whether to? I don't think I would do it for a hit. I would do it for free. But I wouldn't do it for a -4 personally. What's your plan, Focal? I'm looking at Haaland to Ekitike, Rice to Salah, and then Rodgers to Tavernier. So it'll look like that afterwards. Faz says, hey Focal, my better half has a benching issue. Rodgers or Wilson? Is Wilson very likely to be benched and Ekitike or Haaland captain or Tavernier? Has your other half got Bruno? Because I would actually, if I had Haaland and Bruno, I would go Bruno. If I had Haaland and Ekitike, I would go Haaland. But I think I'd actually go Bruno. I'd probably start Rodgers over Wilson there, just in case Wilson, you know, he's come back from injury and he starts on the bench and then comes on. So I would say Rodgers. He did actually score a brace in the reverse fixture, but that might not mean anything. God, he's been such a cursed pick, Rodgers. I've had him for 9 game weeks and he's blanked in all 9. I just feel it's inevitable that he does something. Now I'm selling him. No worries, Dan. Jay says he's got Raya, Gabriel, Virgil Hill, and Bumo Raika and Garno Mukiele. 2 free transfers. Exact money for Haaland to Pedro, Rice to Salah. I do like it. I do like it. I looked at that as well myself, but I just didn't want to go about Ekitike. But you've only got 2 transfers, so, and you've already got Ekitike. I think I'd probably do that, Jay. Honestly, you'll get different answers depending on who you ask, but I would personally do that. Let's do a poll on Haaland and what everyone's plan is with him. Keep and hold, selling, or what? For what it's worth, I think Haaland is likely to start than not. But obviously, some people are just looking at that Spurs fixture and for Liverpool and thinking, could I go Ekitike and maybe get Ekitike and Salah? You've already sold him. Tom's team. I'm not sure about Tom's team. I think he was going to do and die to Tavernier. That's what he tweeted, but not sure. He already had Zoboslai, so I think that might be why. He did say he wasn't looking at Salah so much, but that could be because he's got Zoboslai. So it's a bit more awkward. Unless he just doesn't get Ekitike either. Maybe he'll do that, don't know. Right, where did we get to here? So yeah, I would do that, Jay. Amida says, hey Oscar, Haaland and Rodgers to João Pedro and Salah. Again, I personally think that's okay. I think depending on who you ask, like another content creator might say definitely don't, and then the one after might say yeah, that's worth it, chase the upside. Personally, I'm going for it, but it is like super high risk, high reward. Haaland's blanked once against West Ham ever. He's got like 11 goals and a couple of assists in 7 games, so he's got a brilliant record. You know, and if he starts and bags a brace, and then, you know, Salah doesn't do anything, João Pedro blanks against Newcastle, it could be killer. But that's how it goes, isn't it, sometimes, FPL. Sometimes you go a little bit high risk, high reward. If it comes off, then it's massive. Depends what kind of FPL manager you are. Like, you can just sort of chip away slowly at rank, that's alright as well. That's how I tend to play, if I'm honest. Mostly template, but I try and just pick the odd moment here and there to just chase the upside. How we doing, Del Boy? Good to see you, mate. Distress says, will you be captain as Salah if you bring him in? Yeah, so I'll also captain him. Which feels, it feels wrong to say it, because like, I think he's got like 1 double-digit return this season. I could just captain Ekitike, but, or even Bruno, but I think I'm just gonna go Salah. Surely Liverpool put at least a few past this Spurs side. With the amount of injuries they've got, like, they have to batter them, surely. And if you look at the head-to-head, see if I can find the head-to-head while I'm talking. Liverpool have just got such an incredible record against them. So that's the injury list, and then this is the head-to-head record. 2-1 Liverpool, 5-1 Liverpool, 4-0 Liverpool, 1-0 Spurs, that's in the League Cup, 6-3 Liverpool, 4-2 Liverpool. It's just always been a fixture that's had lots of goals for Liverpool, most of the time. Will Spurs be the ones to finally unlock Salah's potential again? Full-time Liverpool 0, Spurs 1. I think Slot would have to be sacked for that if that happened. That would be, I think, one of the most embarrassing results. And the odds, as I was saying earlier, just shooting up for Liverpool. They were at 2.5 projected goals. They're up to 2.8 now. Magic says Haaland and Ekitike. Haaland to Ekitike, Gw to Pedro -4. Alright, Teddy's here, I think. Come on then. Come on then. Didn't take him long this time. Ugh. So, sorry, Haaland to Ekitike and Gw to João Pedro for -4. I wouldn't do that for a -4 personally. I wouldn't do it for a -4. And I think if you're selling Haaland, I think the one you want to sell for is ideally Salah. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe Ekitike is better, but if you can get both, even better. But yeah, I don't think I'd do the Ekitike Pedro for a -4 personally. Jono, thanks for the 27 months. He says, do I swap Wirtz for Salah? I've got 3 Liverpool already. Yeah, I don't mind that, honestly. I actually think there's a strong chance Wirtz doesn't start. So, yeah, I actually quite like that, even though it seems a bit crazy before the fixture he's got. Teddy, they're saying hey in the chat. He's not bothered. Faisal says he's got 2 free transfers and he's thinking of Haaland, Mane and die out. João Pedro, Thiago and Tavernier from -4. What do you think? Haaland, Mane and die. Are you having to play and die this week? Or Mane? Because it does depend on who you can start instead. Like if you're in a position where you're having to play and die, having to play Mane, then I'd say that's worth it. You probably get that -4 back this week, if not next. I think that's fine. Peanut says, why is no one considering Semenyo? It's because he blanks in 31, basically. Like, I wish I'd consider him ages ago, but I just never went there, and I wish I had done. Teddy's gone global. Yeah, it's just because of the blank in 31. I actually wouldn't be surprised, and this might be a bold statement, if he gets a rest against West Ham and comes off the bench. Because City won't have given up yet. It's not impossible for them to win 3-0 at the Etihad against Real Madrid, take it to extra time or something. It's very unlikely, but it's not impossible. It's really hard to predict Man City's lineup this week. It's really, really hard. Nick says, start 2 out of Lefebvre, Rice and Mbeumo and die. I would start Rice and Mbeumo, Nick. Salah says, if Haaland is out, should I do Pedro and Salah? I've got Zoboslai, Sharda, Tavernier, Bruno, Anderson, Ekitike, Thiago. I mean, if he's out, I don't think we're going to get a leak on it, but maybe. Obviously, if there is any news, then I'll let you guys know straight away if anything gets leaked. I'd be surprised because they play tonight. It would be so far in advance of the game, but who knows? Maybe. Bale Wally Justice says bench 1 of O'Reilly, Hill, or Mbeumo and captain Ekitike, Bruno, or Pedro. I think Bruno captain out of those, and I would bench O'Reilly just because of the uncertainty, like if he starts or not. Like Hill is at least safe, and he's got Burnley. He's good for Defcons. O'Reilly's really high upside, but also has a lot of low side if he was to come off the bench. FPL Mikkel, thanks for the 48 months. He says 48 months. Is that 4 years? 4 years, FPL Mikkel. Thank you, mate. He says Rice to a Liverpool mid. I don't think I'd do that, no. The only one is Salah, but that's obviously like, you can't just do that. I'm guessing you don't have the money in the bank for that. Like the others, like Zoboslai, Gakpo, Wirtz, I wouldn't do. It feels, maybe it's a small upgrade, but I don't think I'd do it personally. I think I'll just leave Rice. Poll to give 1 or 2 treats to Teddy. Oh mate, honestly, he's had enough. He's getting a bit chunky. D. Doyd says bench 2 of Wilson, Anderson, Iwobi, Hill and O'Reilly. I would bench Iwobi and I'd bench O'Reilly out of those. So you start Wilson, Anderson and Hill. What do you guys think? Does Wilson start this one against Forest? Silva was quite optimistic, so I think he's got a good chance. So I'd probably, in your situation, I would risk starting him. But it is team dependent. Some people have got really strong alternatives that are worth playing instead. You reckon he doesn't? Doorman says he does. Mikelea says he doesn't. What do we think for King of the Game Week? Well done anyone that said João Pedro last game week. 19 points he got. What are we saying? Top scorer of Game Week 30. Who do we think? have a look at the fixtures. I'm going to go... What fixture? I mean, I guess I have to go like Ekitike or something. It's got to be Liverpool v Spurs that's got the most potential. Yeah, maybe Ekitike. That'd be my guess. Saka, Cody Gakpo. Yeah, Gakpo maybe. Salah, Ekitike 100%. Salah, Florian, Evan Nilsson, McAllister, Munoz, Gravenberg. I mean, again, does Munoz actually start? Definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a bench and then he gets rested for the Europa Conference League second leg. He's going to be needed for that. Mate, if it's Rodgers, I'm done with this game. I swear to God, if it's Rodgers. Simon says, hey Oscar, hope you're well. Regards from Australia. Thoughts on starting Cherky this week? Or sell him and Haaland for João Pedro and someone else 2 free transfers. I think Cherky and Haaland... Like João Pedro and Salah does look nice. But it's one of those, it's like, it could go either way. Like if City batter West Ham, Haaland and Cherky could have hauled, but... The other side of the coin is, what if Haaland doesn't start or Cherky doesn't? João Pedro's form carries on, Salah batters Spurs. If you can afford João Pedro and Salah, I would consider that. Otherwise, I would just keep them both and start them. I think it's honestly fine to keep the likes of Cherky and Haaland. I think Cherky starts. Haaland probably does as well. Kano says Trossard to Wilson. Nah, I don't think I'd risk it unless you literally have 10 players. Start him. Just in case he doesn't start. But yeah, Trossard wasn't spotted with the team, so he might not even be in the squad. Which teams have the best fixtures from now to the end of the season? So in terms of goals, so we do. In terms of projected goals, Liverpool, and then Chelsea, and then Arsenal, City, Man United, Newcastle, Brighton, Brentford. In terms of clean sheets, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Brighton. So that's the rest of the season. That's from the projections widget on fpl.page or on the Focal app. David, thanks for the 27 months. He says Dorgu to Hill and roll the second, or Haaland Marley to Salah Krupi for free. I think Krupi's actually got a good chance of starting this one. So option 2 is like more swingy. That second one, if you were to captain Salah and make that, you could have a huge game week, or it could be a disaster. It depends how much you want to open up to that. I think option 2 is definitely better, but the thing is, do you need Krupi in 31 as well? Because I think he probably starts against Burnley, but if you need him in 31, it's not great. He might not start against Man United, probably wouldn't, but I think he might start against Burnley. So it depends on that. If you need him in 31, I probably wouldn't do it. I'd just do the Dorgu move. Otherwise, the second one is better. Tracklist says Saliba, Gabriel and Timber, or bench one for Truffert. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Timber got a rest, honestly. But do you bench him? Like, Truffert's great. I'd be really tempted if I were you to just risk the Truffert start over Timber. Like, that right side for Burnley is such a massive vulnerability. I think they've conceded more crosses and chances down that side than any team. And that's Truffert's side as well, so I'd actually give him a start over Timber. And you've still got double Arsenal defence. So, Haaland owners, what are you doing? 71% keeping, 29% selling. Interesting. Oh, I forgot about my tea. Oh, that's nice. Courtesy of Miss Focal. Right. Start Timber or Hill. I think I'd go Hill. Why is Ballard frequently mentioned, recommended in other models? Not sure. Maybe he's really good for Defcons, goal threat. Could be that. Not sure. I've not seen. I don't know which model that is. Salah or Bruno captain? I feel like if you've got Salah and he's playing against an absolutely bare bones Spurs side that in their 140 plus year history have never lost 6 in a row, which is what the run they're on right now. Plus they've got that injury list. What's that, like 11, 12 players out potentially? I feel like you go for it. As bad as Salah's been, it could be an opportunity, right? So I think you go for it. What's the alternative to Haaland if you can't afford Salah, Ekitike and Palmer? Yeah, I think that's got potential. Maybe Palmer's not totally guaranteed to start, but I think you probably will. I'd say Ekitike Palmer's the best bet there. If you really want to sell him. I honestly don't think it's bad to just keep Haaland either, honestly. What I'd say is don't do any moves until near the deadline, just in case there's some early team news or leaks or something. So, yeah, we'll definitely monitor that in case there is anything. Like, I'm making my moves 5 minutes from the deadline. Chris G says, bench boost for Bruggen, Enzo, Strand Larsen and Joachim Andersen. It feels like a dodgy week to bench boost, if I'm honest, Chris. That's not a bad bench at all, so that is tricky, but I don't know, have you got anyone in your starting 11 that could be potentially iffy for minutes? Or are you totally like confident they all play? If you're really confident everyone in your starting 11 plays, then I would say that's fine to bench boost. But it does feel a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't sit right bench boosting when it's like sandwiched between 2 European legs. And it was a really bad first leg for pretty much all English teams, basically, wasn't it? What was it like? Liverpool lost to Galatasaray, City lost 3-0, Spurs lost 5-2. What was Arsenal? 1-0? Can't remember the other ones. Palace, I think Palace drew or lost. Anyway, it's just, there's a lot up in the air, I feel, and that might just lead to some unexpected rotation this weekend. So yeah, it just depends on your confidence. It's a good bench. I would do it if you're confident everyone plays. Simon says, thanks. Would you change anything from the following? He's got Raya, Timber, Gabriel, Van Dijk, and Mbumo, Bruno, Dango, Enzo, Cherki, Haaland, Thiago. I would consider Cherki to Tavernier, Simon. I think that's really nice for the next 2. Like, he's on pens, takes some corners, free kicks. I think that looks really nice, and that frees up some money for you. Not that you'll necessarily need it, but that looks quite nice. The other thing, yeah, as I was saying, like if you've got enough money for it, Haaland to Ekitike, Cherki to Salah is the sort of moves that a lot of people are looking at as well. But I think the majority are keeping hold of Haaland, so I would do either of those 2 top combinations. Adam says, what are your moves? I'm going to be doing Haaland to Ekitike, Rice to Salah, and then Rodgers to Tavernier. I might just message nice team Oscar. The thing is, this is the thing, like I could just roll. There's nothing really wrong with the team. And that's making this week so difficult, but I just feel like I don't want to go into that Spurs home fixture without Liverpool attack. You're going to call your baby Oscar. I'm honoured. I'm honoured. Mark says, hello Oscar, play Wilson or Sarr. Tottenham home? Which Sarr? Do you mean Palace's Sarr? Leeds home? If that's Ismaila Sarr, I would start him. If that's the Tottenham Sarr, I definitely wouldn't play him. I'd play the Wilson. You're going to call your baby Focal. Oh dear, I've heard it all. Yeah, it didn't show up, Moses. Just type it in the chat and I'll look out for your message. Not sure why it didn't show up, but just type it in chat. I'll take your word for it. Chuck it in the chat, Moses. Copy and paste. Definitely didn't show up, as you say. Yeah, I did look at Van den Berg. I just wonder if there's an outside chance that it's Collins and Aya centre back in one of the next two. So I decided against it, but I think if he plays both, he's solid. FPL Honey. Wait, I actually can't wait to get into beekeeping. I think it's going to be a steep learning curve. Like, the more content I watch about it, the more it's like, okay, this is actually like super complicated and there's quite a lot to it. You don't just leave them to it and then you come back in 6 months and you've got honey. You know, like in the summer you're having to check it weekly at least. No, I don't think I'd buy Verts. I wouldn't be very confident in the start, honestly. At least for the next two. O'Reilly to Virgil, I like that. Yeah, I would do that. I don't think FN Moses said anything in the chat. He said his super chat didn't show up. Can you pull up the clean sheet odds? Sure, here they are. Jump the Wave shows a 50% chance Semenyo plays. The only thing is, I saw there's only 4 people that responded to her this week. So that's not really good sample size. That's not really enough. But yeah, I mean, I said earlier, it is possible he doesn't play and Pep rotates a few players. Can you recap the top news? Basically, the headlines are on the left side in the team news widget. Those are the main ones that I've put there. Tuna, thank you for the 5 months. So start the Bravka and roll or sell Rörs for a 4.5 to 5 mil keeper. No, I'd just stick it out of Dubravka, honestly, and just hope for some save points. Maybe a small chance of a clean sheet, but I would just play Dubravka. It's not worth a valuable transfer in goal. So he said, Moses said, Raya, Van Dijk, Gabriel, Chalobah, Bruno, Dango, Rice. Benches Anderson, Mukiele, Krupi, 3 free transfers, 1 mil on the bank. Roll or make a transfer. He's top 15k. Looks like a roll to me. Like, your midfield's good, so you could do Rice to Salah and then Haaland to João Pedro. I would either do that or I'd roll. Depends on your risk tolerance there. Like, if that comes off, you could be well inside top 10k, but if it goes wrong, you could be, you know, 30, 40k. But that's something to consider if you really want to like keep pushing. Haaland to João Pedro and Rice to Salah, but I think Rolling's also good. Akshat says bench 1 out of Dango, Tavernier, Bruno, Wilson, Mbumo, Thiago, Ekitike and Haaland. It'd have to be Wilson out of all of those. I think he's the obvious one. All the rest are like pretty reliable picks, so Wilson. Ukash says Haaland and Krupi to Ekitike and Pedro for a -4. No, I wouldn't do it for a -4. I think Krupi probably even starts this game. Like, if I had him, I would just take the chance and play him. For the audio-only listeners, can you give us the top news for this game week? I didn't realise. Has anyone watched these streams or listened to these streams in audio only? Let me know in chat. You'll have to jump over, I suppose. So the news I've got there is Glasner's hopeful that Munoz is going to recover in time. Wilson's likely to be in contention. Might not start. Oh, it's disappeared now. How can I make that come back? I'll have to wait for that to come back there. Oh, lots of you do when you're driving. You're an audio-only listener. Oh, fair enough. It's more than I realised. I should actually... I don't know if it really is a thing. I should probably upload the streams on Spotify. If you guys didn't know, every video gets posted on Spotify. But yeah, the streams don't. Yeah, so like this week, players to buy, team selection, the experts, and the interview of the guy that's currently first in the world is also on Spotify. I've got 4.9 stars apparently, so if you listen or like my content, can you leave me a 5-star on Spotify? Someone's brought the average down to 4.9. Unbelievable. Yeah, he came across really well, that guy that I did the interview with. He's currently first in the world. I hope he can keep the top spot. Really nice guy, Eric. What's crazy is it's his first FPL season, but he's like really, really intelligent guy. We were talking lots before we hit record, and he's studying at uni to become a doctor, and he basically just studied FPL to death to kind of learn how to play, and he really knew what he was talking about, even though it's his first year. But imagine that, your first FPL season, and you're sitting at rank 1 in the world with a chance of winning it all. Crazy. I see a dog, I hit like. It was Teddy that gave me the 1 star. Unbelievable. Right. Amy Pan says, I went for Ekitike, Van Dijk, Zoboslai to Rodgers and Chow. What are your thoughts? Ekitike, Van Dijk, Zobo to Rodgers and Chow. I don't think I understand this one. Ekitike, Van Dijk and Zobo to Rodgers and Chow. It doesn't make sense. That's 3 players and then 2. And I'm guessing you meant the opposite way, Amy. Rodgers and Chow to Zobo, Van Dijk I like. Yeah, and Ekitike is great as well. Yeah, good moves. I think I know what you mean. I like the moves. Taiwo says, what are your thoughts about Sharda to Tavernier? Saren Wilson start, Bruno midfield. We've got Thiago, Ekitike and Haaland. Your defences, Van Dijk, Gabriel and Anderson. I'm not a big fan of Sharda out. I mean, he's got Wolves home. I know Wolves have been digging out some amazing results, but over the last 6 game weeks, they are still the worst team for expected goals conceded. So, like, they've conceded more shots than anyone. So I don't think I would do that when Sharda plays them. I don't like that. It feels a bit sideways to me. It could go really well, but it could backfire big time. Would you sell Rice for Zoboslai? No, I personally wouldn't do that. Again, that feels a little bit sideways to me. Are you rolling? No, I'm actually going to make 3 moves. I'll be doing Haaland to Ekitike, Rice to Salah, and then Rodgers to Tavernier. That's my plan. The only thing is, I need Mukiele to recover in time. Otherwise, I'm going to have to spend a transfer in 31. So I think it's really close, because the alternative I could do, instead of selling Tavernier, is I just do O'Reilly to Tete. And that way, I've definitely got a defence in 31. I've definitely got defence this week, but then I'm playing Rodgers for the next 2, who's been dreadful for me. I don't know, what would you guys rather do? Like, the Tete route is safer, more robust. But Tavernier obviously is more upside when he's got Burnley. And maybe it shouldn't be a factor, but like, I'll actually have something to cheer on. Because the 3 o'clocks today are so dead. You guys seen the 3 o'clock games? Burnley v Bournemouth, Sunderland versus Brighton. I'm guessing the majority of you haven't even got anyone in the 3 o'clock games, have you? How many players have you guys got playing today? So if I did those moves, I'd have Tavernier playing the triple Arsenal. I'd have 5 playing? Yeah, 5. Oh, Hill. Yeah, I guess some people got Hill, Kroopy. What about Verts? Asked Bobby. I'm just not sure on his minutes. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start, Bobby. So I'm not a big fan of the Verts pick. Like, I wouldn't buy him. I guess you start him if you've got him, but I wouldn't buy him. Definitely not. Jono says, what about Sesko for a 3-week punt? 3 weeks? So what's that? 30, 31, 32. Why 3 weeks? You're planning to game week... Oh, free hit 33, wildcard 34. Okay, I got you. Still, Sesko for the next 3. No, I'd rather Ekitike, I'd rather João Pedro, I'd rather Thiago. I'd rather all of those over Sesko, honestly. Like, there's a chance Sesko doesn't even start some of the next 3. He could go back to Mbuma up top and Ahmad right wing, and then no Sesko. I personally wouldn't go there. Beradus, thanks for the 60 months. He says your real move is roll and keep the cards. Mate, I know. Honestly, I've gone back and forth on this so much, and I do think rolling also looks good. It's not a bad team, is it? It's not a bad team. Yeah, it's definitely one of those, like, oh. Tomorrow night, it could look brilliant, or it could look terrible. But I just got a gut feeling about the moves. I think I should just back the gut feeling. And to be fair, at least it does get me Ekitike. I think Ekitike's effective ownership is honestly going to be about the same as Haaland's. Like, what was it last game week? Like, some of you obviously don't care about EO, but, you know, he's a massive rank threat. 74% last week. Probably going to be 100 this week. So at least I'll have him for the peace of mind. But then I'll also have Salah captain. That's the big one. It really could go either way. Because if I was to roll, I'd captain Bruno. So it's kind of like Bruno. It's Bruno versus Haaland. Sorry, Bruno versus Salah. I'm going to keep checking during the stream. I suppose there's a small chance of City news or Liverpool news, but yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely not making my moves until like 5 minutes out from the deadline, just in case. Yeah, if I had Creepy, I'd give him the start, unless you've got a really strong alternative. Handle this says sell 1 for Zoboslai, Bruno and Bumo, Wilson, Palmer, Sharda. I wouldn't sell any of those for Zoboslai. They're all fine to hold, in my opinion. I know Wilson's a doubt, but he's got Burnley home at 31, so I just definitely wouldn't be selling him. I would roll, or just make a move elsewhere. Wouldn't sell any of those. Steve says Haaland to João Pedro on 1 free transfer, ready of Ekitike. Nah, I wouldn't do that, Steve. Not sure about Haaland to João Pedro in isolation as one move. I think I'd only consider it if it was like to also fund Salah. Pat Kell says 180k, 4th in the mini league, 40 points off first. That's not much, by the way, 40 points. He says 2 free transfers. He's got no Van Dijk. He's got Munoz, Collins, Hill, Anderson, Gabriel. I can't afford Van Dijk. I could sell Rice to Tav or go Kanate instead. Or I get Salah for Rice and sell Haaland, João Pedro. No, I wouldn't go Kanate just in case, because he probably needs a rest. Probably won't happen, but just in case. Gomez comes in at centre back. So he's saying Munoz to Van Dijk and then Rice to Tavernier. I think those are a really good pair of moves, Pat, if that's what you're saying. That's immediately what came to mind when I read what you said there, the players. Like, if we knew Munoz was going to start, obviously you keep him, but it just wouldn't surprise me if he starts on the bench or something and then they just rest him for Europe next week. So I would do those 2 moves. You've got 2 transfers, right? Do it for free. This is Dave says, should we sell Haaland now that he's cut his hair? Wait, that wasn't real, was it? I don't think that was real. I think that was a troll. Did Haaland actually post that himself? Yeah, I think he was trolling. Oh yeah, I did a little, what do you call it, like a viewer counter. Probably need to just... Oh, there we go, that looks quite good. Can you see it on the chat widget? Boom. 2,200 watching, by the way. Thank you all for being here. Do hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying the stream. Keep your questions coming. So, Dave says that changes everything. I don't think he cut his hair. I think it was a wind-up. There's no way he'd cut his locks. Wilson News. Silver basically said he's optimistic that he'll make the squad, but that's about all we know. That could just mean in the squad. It could mean bench. Could mean start. Well, he'll be in the squad. I'm certain of that. Probably starts if I had to guess. Bradley Hanna, thanks for the 12 months. 1 year. Says, thoughts on Haaland to Ekitike, Krupi to João Pedro. I don't think I would do it. I think I would just leave that. But I think, honestly, Krupi probably starts if I had to guess. I just don't think I would do it. It's really close, that one, because I do like the moves, and I did look at them myself, but I decided against it. Because I could do that. I looked at Haaland to Ekitike, Mane to João Pedro, and I personally decided against it. Because I felt like I'd rather find a way to get Salah and have doubles Liverpool attack, but maybe your team's different. I think it's alright to do. I don't dislike it, basically. I decided against it, though. But I don't dislike it. I know that's not the best answer, but yeah, I decided against doing those moves. Pub says, hey Oscar, I hope you're well. Oh, we've got 10 gifted memberships. Oh, that scared Teddy. We've got 10 gifted memberships from Akshat. Thank you very much for the 10 gifted. Welcome to the 10 new members. Sorry, Ted. I can't really reach the stream deck is the problem. There we go. Thank you, Akshat. Appreciate you. Thanks for that, mate. So what was it? The question was from Pub. He says, I hope you're doing well. Would you punt? Who would you punt on for the next 2 game weeks? Thiago or Ekitike? Probably Thiago, if I had to pick one. Just because of the more assuredness of minutes. Ekitike's fixture is better this week, but Thiago's is still great. And then Thiago's got Leeds away, Ekitike's got Brighton away. But then yeah, this is the risk with me buying Salah and Ekitike. It's like, do they definitely both start in 31 against Brighton? So I would say Thiago if I was picking either. Obviously, I've already got Thiago, which is why I'm looking at Ekitike. Deadline is 6. God, it's flown by. That's the first hour of the stream. Deadline is in 60 minutes. Koa says, would you sell Haaland for Salah? I'm thinking of doing Haaland and Ekitike. Haaland to Ekitike, Dorgu to Van Dijk. I don't have Salah. Also start Raul or Wilson. I think Raul will either start or not play at all. So I would say Raul. Obviously, he lost his dad apparently this week. Fulham tweeted, so that's obviously devastating news. And I just wouldn't blame him at all if he missed the game and needed time off. So I just think he starts or not in the squad at all. So play Raul. Haaland to Ekitike, Dorgu to Van Dijk. I'm not as sure on that one. Not so sure about that one. Personally, I would only sell Haaland if it gets you Ekitike and Salah. Maybe João Pedro and Salah's okay as well, but if you're just getting Ekitike and someone like Van Dijk, it doesn't feel quite as a high upside. I'd probably just keep Haaland in that case. Is City blanking in 31 confirmed? It's almost certain. It's like about 95-90% chance that they blank in 31, yeah. It's like 5-10%, I think, chance, based on what FPL Spaceman said. He knows the fixtures better than me, and he suggested that's about the percentage chance that it stays in 31. Because there's just no reason why it couldn't go into 32 or another midweek. Because if they moved that to 31 now, when it's like a week away, it's just such ridiculously short notice for fans. It's not really necessary. Because that's a big factor as well when they move fixtures around. To be fair, they don't always like think of the fans. They do sometimes do stuff last minute, but ideally they want to give the fans good notice, and you know, there's stuff like the policing they have to consider, what other events are on at the time to move it last minute like that when there's big crowds. So yeah, it's very unlikely, very, very unlikely. And also they'd have to go out of Europe and I think out of the FA Cup or something like that. Mosiah says, would you bench boost this? Dubravka, Hill, Wilson and Anderson? Nah, I definitely wouldn't bench boost that. Just because of the Wilson uncertainty, and even like Anderson, to be fair. Like, if you're a Fulham fan, does Anderson come back into the 11? I think he probably does, but I just don't like that you've got a couple of uncertainties on the bench on the bench boost, so I wouldn't do it. Save the bench boost. There'll be a better week later for you. Any Calvert-Lewin update? Yeah. What did he say? Farker sort of implied that he's a doubt, so I'd be reluctant to start him if I were you. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start this one. I'm just checking around for like team news or anything. I think it's super unlikely, but there's always a chance. City play tonight. Liverpool's tomorrow, so it really depends how early Slot decides the team and if that information even gets out. But I'm kind of hoping for that. That'd be great if there is some. It'd make the moves easier. But I'm doing it regardless, to be fair. Salah and Ekitike in. Yinwei says, Anderson, Wilson, DCL start one, and which one on the bench? I would start Anderson, just because the other two are slight doubts in terms of whether they start or not. Because that's Forrest Anderson with the O. So yeah, start Anderson. Baz Fahan says, Oscar, Tavernier captain. I need a differential this game week. Let's have a look at captaincy. So the captain widget has got Salah top, then Bruno, then Thiago, then Palmer, then Ekitike. So like Salah's the big differential one. Tavernier, I don't hate it, but I don't think I would personally captain Tavernier, even if I wanted a differential. Like, there's still good upside on someone like a Bruno. I guess Bruno could be something like 100% effective ownership, so you still get a lot from his points. Oh, Thiago, home to Wolves. I think he's solid. I don't mind Tavernier. I like that he even suggested, though, because I'm looking to buy Tavernier. Who's the most bought player this week? Oh, God, it's João Pedro. 500,000 have bought him. Honestly, some of the rank killers right now, like João Pedro and Semenyo, and their ownership just keeps going up. Anderson is second most bought. Senesi, Ekitike, Bruno, Thiago, Semenyo. And most sold is Rodgers, then it's Van der Ven, Roofs, Haaland, Wilson, Cash, Calvert-Lewin, Mukiele and Bumo. This page is from not only fpl.co.uk if you want to check it out. Credit to them. But yeah, a lot of people, I guess not many have got many Spurs assets, but Van der Ven was up there. But look, how many players is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 players are flagged for Spurs. And I guess like 11 of those are definitely out. I think Gallagher and Basuma are the maybes. How many Liverpool players have you guys got for this one? Not 1, 2, 3. So the poll is how many Liverpool players? And we'll have this look at the scout selection as well. Again, let us know in the chat how many players you've got from the scout selection. So this week they've gone with Elborg in goal. That is a mega differential. Elborg in goal. Gabriel, Van Dijk, O'Reilly. Bruno, captain. Semenyo, Sarr. Tavernier, Ekitike, João Pedro, and Thiago. How many players have we got from the team? So I love Gabriel, Van Dijk, O'Reilly, Bruno. What's that? 4, 5, 6. I'll have 7 this week. You'll have Gakpo and Ekitike. Nice. Yeah, I think Gakpo should start. I think he got a rest in the Champions League, didn't he? Yeah, get your votes on that poll. Let's keep going. Pat says, thanks, mate. You're the best. I did the first 2 moves you suggested. Now, who do I play? Hill or Collins? and Wilson or Dango. I would play Hill and Dango, again, just because I'm more confident in their minutes. The other two are good if they start, but the fact that you have to say, will they start, makes me think I wouldn't. I'd rather go Hill and Dango. So yeah, Hill and Dango. Glad to help. You got 7. 7, 6, 4, 3, 5, 6. 4 for Razan. 4 before transfers. How many after? 6. Yeah, I was counting mine based on after, so the 3 moves I make will put me on 7. Otherwise, it's like 5. Bobby says, Sup Oscar, sell Haaland and Mane for Ekatike and Bowen. I have Thiago and I'm not sure on João Pedro's minutes. Much love. Shout out to Teddy. Also, good news. I wildcarded my wife and I'm keeping the house. Congratulations, Bobby. Wildcarded the wife. Did you catch her then? Right, this is the one that was cheating on you with the postman, if I remember rightly. I don't think I'd do those 2 moves, Ekatike and Bowen, though. I think João Pedro's minutes should be okay. He came off slightly early against PSG, so I think he starts. I'd rather João Pedro if I was making those 2 moves, rather than Bowen, personally. I mean, Bowen's got Man City, so I'm not so keen on that. Would you start Wilson or Enzo? Enzo. Start DCL or Wilson? Wilson. Benny says Verbruggen, Van Dijk, Hill, Gabriel, Semenyo, Rice. He's got 1 transfer. Do I roll? Who do I captain? I'd captain Bruno personally if I had your team. Let's see. So you'd go a back 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I would roll. That's the 3-4-3, right? Yeah, looks good. Nice team. Roll. Dimitri says, Ndai to Tavernier or Gw30 Pedro, or 3, Haaland and Ndai, Ekatike, Salah -4, or roll and play Maguire with Ndai benched. Rank is bad, I'm chasing. I would go for option 1, definitely, especially if you're chasing. Like, Gw30 João Pedro is nice, but Ndai's got Arsenal, Tavernier's got Burnley. Option 1 is the upside one for sure. What's Tavernier's ownership, guys? Anyone got that to hand? I feel like it's got to be pretty low. It must be under 10%. Way says, if you keep Rodgers, I might have to sell. He's cursed you. No, I've got good news, Way. I'm selling Rodgers. Rodgers is leaving my FPL team. So, you're alright. He's going to start returning again. I've somehow managed to pick 9 really good fixtures. Well, nearly all of them are good fixtures that Rodgers has blanked in. So, I'm finally getting rid of him. So, I think this will be the week where he finally delivers, because I'm about to sell. .1%, really? Yeah, there you go, Dimitri. Hamada says Sanchez, Gabriel, Kanate, Timber, Semenyo, Bruno, Dango. You've got 2 free transfers. I love how you've laid this out, by the way. This is so easy to read. Haaland and Mane to João Pedro and Thiago. Or do I roll? I would roll, honestly. Yeah, I'd roll. I'd probably start Senesi over Wilson as well. Just in case Wilson doesn't start. I feel like you start Senesi against Burnley. He's great for Defcons. The clean sheet odds aren't bad. Yeah, I'd start Senesi over Wilson and roll. 13 Killing says, hey Oscar, can you help with this team, please? He's got Gabriel, O'Reilly, Van Dijk, Stack, Rice, Enzo, Rodgers, Anderson, DCL, Dorgu on the bench. 1 free transfer, 0.2 mil. So, okay, so you got Anderson there. Stack, Rice, okay. Enzo, Bruno, Rodgers, Haaland. Yeah, I think you need to roll. Because you're gonna need those 2 transfers to get an 11 out in 31, right? Because you've got Gabriel, O'Reilly. I don't know who your keeper is, but if it's Rye, that's another one. Rice, Haaland, Dorgu, all that don't play in 31. So yeah, definitely roll there, 13. Class Axe says, I'm selling Erling and getting Semenyo and João Pedro, even though he blanks in 31. You're buying Semenyo. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth buying Semenyo unless you're free hitting a 31, perhaps. Maybe that's your chip strategy. Otherwise, I don't think I'd do it. So 37% have one Liverpool player, 37% have got two, 15% have got three, 11% going into this game with none. What's everyone's plan moves for 31? I'm guessing that you're all going to have to make at least one move to get a full 11 out. Or maybe more than one. What's everyone planning to do in 31? Are you doing like Haaland out? Yeah, I don't think I would do the Semenyo, João Pedro moves personally. Unless you're free hitting a 31. 2 transfers in 31. Oh yeah, I was going to try and keep an eye on the odds. I've just asked. There's a guy on the FPL Analytics Discord that's built like a brilliant tool where he can track the odds and how they shift. I'm just going to fill up a water. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Right, sorry about that. Nice fern, Oscar. FPL Invisible. No cat is a disgrace. I completely forgot about the cat. That's my fault. Right. Let me see if he said anything. Expecting movement on something tomorrow in Liverpool. Oh, because they play tomorrow, of course. Right, where do we get to? So, Joshua, thanks for the 2 months. He says, hey Oscar, what are your transfer plans this week? I'm looking at doing... I've got 3 free transfers. The first one will be Haaland to Ekitike. Like that. And then it will be Rice to Salah. And I'll captain Salah. I know, captain is Salah, he's washed, whatever, I know. Could be bad. And then it'll be Rodgers to Tavernier. And really just chase the upside this week. So those are my 3 planned moves. And then hopefully Mukiele's back for the Newcastle game. Otherwise I'll have to spend a defender transfer in 31. So that's where I'm at there. I'm 3, thanks for the 16 months. Says, hi Oscar, bench 1, Rice or Gay? I would bench Gay, definitely. Start Rice. Win Dixie, thanks very much for your super chat without the message. And Akshat says, start Pickford or Dubravka. Dubravka. Probably both concede, but Dubravka, I guess they both will make loads of save points, but I'd say Dubravka. What's the clean sheet odds on that? Must be similar. Burnley 15%, Everton 13%. Yeah, just go Dubravka. About the same. Ash, thanks for the 32 months. Ash says, hi Oscar, Gay out for Senesi. Gay out for Senesi. I don't think I would do that. Is there any chance that Gray doesn't start? It might be Ruben Diaz that, if anyone, maybe Stones comes in. It's really hard to read City, but I don't think I would do that, Ash, personally. It's not a bad move, but I think I wouldn't do it. And then maybe in 31 instead, you could get a Fulham defender for Burnley home, as opposed to Senesi now. since City's clean sheet odds are fairly good this week. Lucas Aid says, do you ever predict results in these streams? I used to last season, but I actually stopped doing it. Maybe we should bring it back, I don't know. Yeah, we used to do it where I'd sort of just get the thoughts from chat as we did it. But a lot of people didn't really enjoy it. Like, as soon as we started doing it, the amount of viewers would just like drop in half. Obviously that was after the deadline, so it's probably just also post-deadline people understandably dipping because they came in for the deadline, the deadline's passed, so then you leave. But yeah, maybe we'll bring it back next season. Johnny says, oh, there's no message. Johnny, thanks for your super chat. No message. Steve says, start Forrest Anderson or Harry Wilson. I would start Anderson, really. Just because of the security of his starts. He's good for DEFCON. I think they're pretty close this week. Yeah, we could bring it back. Yeah, I'm just looking around for like predicted lineups and stuff because I've got O'Reilly starting, but it's really mixed on whether he starts or not. Scout's predicted lineup has got him in. Who would you guys start? Let's do a poll on that. Anderson or O'Reilly? Because I need to pick one of those. A happy brown Teddy, thanks for the super chat, says, hey Oscar, bench headache this week. Gabriel, Timber, Van Dijk, Hill, Bruno, and Bumo, Ryan, Ekatike, Thiago, Haaland, and the benches are O'Reilly, Iwobi, and Wilson. I think you've got it right here. That looks right to me. 4-4-2. Ah, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4-3-3 is that? Yeah. No, I think you've got it right. I would probably swap Wilson and Iwobi, but that looks right to me. Yeah, it's a strong bench, but I think you've got it all set out right there. Any leaks, Focal? I don't think so. I'll keep checking. What have we got? 36 minutes till deadline. I'll keep checking. But as it stands, no. I don't know if there's a chance because City play. Is it 8 o'clock tonight? It's a really late game for City, I think. So I just doubt we'd get anything so early, but it's not impossible. But yeah, it'd be really early before kickoff. We'll see though. I'll keep checking. Liverpool news may be possible as well. Either way, that's why I'm going to make my moves like 5 minutes from the deadline. In contention means there's a possibility he will either be in the squad or start. Yeah, exactly. A player in contention like Wilson doesn't mean he starts. But like, I'm expecting Wilson to be in the squad, just not necessarily starting, but it is possible he will start because they've missed him. Start 2 of Wilson, Zoboslai and Bumo. I would start Zobo and then Bumo. Johnny says Haaland and Ndai to Pedro / Thiago and Salah / Palmer. I think Thiago and Salah looks really good. Especially if you have to play and die this week. I don't know who your alternative is. Yeah, my general thoughts on the whole Haaland to Salah thing is it's very obviously high risk, high reward. Like, Haaland's going to be really highly captained. And he's got a great record against West Ham. But maybe this is the universe where Haaland doesn't start this one, which would make the Salah move really high upside. But Salah's obviously like past his best and not been impressive, so it could end up being a case where Haaland starts, bags a hat-trick, Salah blanks, and it's a rank killer. So it depends really how you feel about that and the volatility, I guess, of the moves. But my gut feeling is I should do it, so I'm going for it this week. Ekatike and Salah coming in, plus Tavernier. Bench Ryan, Wilson or Mbumo. I think if you've got 3 players like that, where like Ryan and Mbumo look good and Wilson's got the flag, Wilson's the one that has to miss out. Start Wilson or Kroupy. Yeah, obviously both are a little bit dodgy for minutes, but I've seen some Bournemouth fans predicting a Kroupy start, so it could be Evan Nilsson up top, Kroupy playing behind, Tavernier left, Ryan right wing. So I'd start Kroupy. I'd take the chance. He's got Burnley. It's worth it. And for anyone that's joined late, just launched a brand new widget on the website called Team of the Week, and this automatically becomes available the second each deadline passes, and it updates itself throughout the week based on team news, predicting minutes, injury news and stuff like that. So that's live, fpl.page /team of the week. It's also in the Focal app. Let me see if it's changed actually. No changes. So that's the projected team of the week for this week. Class Act says, do I transfer to Palmer or Semenyo? Depends who you're selling. I wouldn't buy Semenyo given that he blanks in 31. Not totally guaranteed to start this one even. I think Palmer's alright to buy, but again, it depends who you're selling there and how you're funding that. No, Wilson's in contention. I think he'll be in the squad for sure. Whether he starts, I don't know. Oh yeah, let's actually look at the bookies odds for individual players. So goal scorer odds, Haaland is still top, 0.74 projected goals. Then Thiago, then Ekitike, Salah, Calvert-Lewin, but obviously he's flagged. These odds assume the player starts. Evan Nilsson, Gyökeres. If we go goal involvement, so actually for goal involvement, Salah's then top. Then it's Ekitike, basically dead even there. Then Haaland, then Thiago. Kayser obviously not expecting to start. Saka, Palmer, Bruno, Gakpo, Gyökeres, Wirtz, and Mbumo. Interesting. Keegan says Haaland to Kroupy, Wilson to Salah, Truffer to Virgil. I'm not sure about that one because Truffer has got Burnley. I feel like that's a great fixture to keep him for. I wouldn't feel comfortable selling a Bournemouth defender before they got Burnley, let alone Truffer, who's like super attacking. No, I don't think I'd do that. It's not bad moves, but again, like Wilson's also got Burnley home in 31, so no, I'm not a big fan of those moves. McAllister score or assist? I definitely wouldn't buy McAllister personally. He probably starts, but I wouldn't buy McAllister. Joshua says, hey mate, how's it going? For Verbruggen versus Dubravka, Rodgers versus Sarr and Roll, or drop Haaland for Pedro and Rice to Semenyo. So Verbruggen versus Dubravka. So who have Brighton got? Sunderland. I would start for Verbruggen. Rodgers versus Sarr. I'd start Sarr. No, I would roll. I would roll and start Sarr and Verbruggen there. Hittick says, start Enzo or Wilson. Start Van Heck or Anderson. Van Heck or Anderson. Let me just check the clean sheet odds. I think I'd probably give Brighton Van Heck the start. Sunderland away 34%. Well, they joint fourth on the odds there. Where are Fulham? 22. So yeah, Van Heck. I guess I'd start Enzo. Newcastle home. Play Enzo. DGP says, is Mane to Ekitike worth a -4? It really depends on who you're playing instead if you don't take the hit. Like I wouldn't have much confidence in Mane getting you a goal involvement away at Brentford. So if you have to play Mane, then it could be worth it for the next two, but I don't know. I'm guessing you've got someone else you'd play instead of Mane. But I don't think I'd do a hit without knowing the full context there. Adam Ahmed said, thanks for the 26 months. Captain Haaland, the guy above me in my mini league has sold him. if you've got Bruno and Haaland, I would personally captain Bruno. I think as it stands, the captain widget hasn't even got Haaland top 5, which is interesting. But that's just because of his minutes, predicted minutes, being slightly lower. Like maybe he comes off early. Maybe he doesn't even start. I think he probably does start, but he could just start from the bench. You know, Marmoush gets the start. But I would go Bruno. I think it's maybe too early to also overthink your mini leagues. It can often just make you make a worse decision when you start to overthink your mini leagues. I feel like you almost have to just play your own game until, I guess, maybe the last 5-ish game weeks. I think it's too early. Especially with captaincy, which is like the most important thing in FPL. Like, you're going to have other players that are different, that can make up the ground. I would just captain who you think's the best captain. DJ Bagel says, there are 5 of us within 15 points of each other at the top of the money league. 2.7 mil on the bank. Rice to Tavernier / Liverpool player. If so, who? Thanks. Rice to Tavernier feels a little bit sideways, I think. But it's not bad if they don't have him. If you really want to just differentiate. Okay, yeah, it is a little bit better this week, Tavernier over Rice, but it's not a huge upgrade. If you can afford, like, I'm looking at getting Ekatike and Salah. If you can afford something like that, I'm actually going to get Tavernier as well, so all 3. If you can do something like that, selling Haaland, that could be a big differentiator, and it could even be the best play. Any Haaland leaks? Nah, nothing. I'll keep an eye. We've got just under half an hour till deadline, so if there's any news, I'll definitely let you guys know straight away. If anything gets leaked on Man City. But yeah, as it stands, nothing. FPL Owen says, Krupi to Ekatike, I'm selling Haaland next week with 2 free transfers. Yeah, if you can do Krupi to Ekatike, that's definitely worth it. I like that a lot. Yeah, and then sell Haaland next week for whoever you don't have, Thiago or maybe João Pedro, maybe Raul Jimenez. Start Krupi or stack. I would take the punt on Krupi this week. I've seen him in a few predicted lineups at least, so I'd probably just take the chance when he's got Burnley especially. Treble MCFC says Rice and Dye to Verts and Tav, bench Wilson or roll and bench and Dye. I would keep Rice and just do and Dye to Tavernier. I wouldn't buy Verts. I'm not sure about his minutes in the next 2 games, honestly. So I don't think I would buy Verts. If you've got him, I think you keep, but I wouldn't be so confident in buying him. Annoyingly, just because of the injury, he's just back. Did he start? I think he started against Galatasaray. Alright, Slot could easily line up without Verts, I think, so I wouldn't buy. Just do and die to Tav. That's a nice move. T Blake Music, Semenyo or Bruno captain. I've got Haaland as well. I would go Bruno. Again, just the assurity of minutes. He's on the pens. Corners, free kicks. I just like him more. I know Semenyo's done well, but I think it's not out of the question for Pep to shake a few positions up, which might include someone like a Semenyo. Probably not, but I think it's possible. There could be some surprises in the lineups this game week, honestly. Right, keep the questions coming. I'm still checking around for like any leaks anywhere, but as it stands, nothing. I just don't think it's that likely because of City playing tonight, Liverpool tomorrow. But I asked the Liverpool guy that usually has something, and he said it really depends on how early Slot locks the team in. So I'll keep an eye if he says anything. but it is so early before the game. It'd be quite surprising. Phantom says, sell one of triple Arsenal defence or vert, slash and die. I'd rather sell and die, given that he's got Arsenal. And then, is it Chelsea next week? No, I'd sell and die. I think that's the priority. Triple Arsenal defence is fine this week. They're top of the clean sheet odds. I don't think you need to sell triple defence. And die to like a Tavernier or a Dango or a Zobosai looks good. I'd rather that. Matty says, my team is Raya, Anderson, Gabriel Munoz, Enzo, Bruno, and Bumo Rice, Wilson, Haaland, Thiago. And the bench is Dubravka, Krupi, Mukiele, Van Heck. You've got 4 transfers, 1.7 mil. What's your moves? So, okay. You got 4 moves. That does open up a lot of options. Because you could do Haaland to Ekitike. You could do something similar to what I'm looking at, like Haaland to Ekitike, Rice to Salah. Can you afford that? I think you probably can. Maybe just that. Or if you need to fund it somehow, then you could also do... Just thinking Munoz to Van Dijk would also be nice. You could spend all 4 moves here and make really nice upgrades. Like Munoz might not play, so Munoz to Van Dijk, Enzo to Tavernier, Rice to Salah, Haaland to Ekitike, and just really push it. What about that? So it would be Van Dijk, Tavernier, Salah and Ekitike come in for you. I would consider that. That could be really nice this week, but if you don't want to sell Haaland, then that's fine. If you don't want to sell Haaland, then maybe just something like sell Munoz. But then again, I think Munoz... If you don't want to sell Haaland, just roll. You've got Van Heck for depth on the bench. I'd start Krupi over Wilson as well. Verts or Palmer? Palmer. Haaland to Ekitike -4. Nah, not for a -4. O'Reilly or Munoz? I'd go Munoz and just hope that he starts. I think they're both a little bit of a risk, honestly. In terms of my transfers, for those asking, it's going to be Haaland to Ekitike, Rodgers to Tavernier, and then Rice to Salah, and then Captain Salah. Corbe Voodoo says, start Wilson, Krupi or Casemiro. Thank you from Vermont in the USA. I would give Krupi the start. Just give, like I was saying earlier, just given that he's got Burnley, he's in predicted lineups from fans. I would just give him the start. I'm also giving Wilson's flag, like it could be a benching for Wilson anyway. So I would say Krupi out of those. Thanks for the support. Oscar Tunborn says, start Gw30 or Rodgers. Rodgers is more upside. I would give Rodgers the start there. Yeah, just chase the upside. I know Rodgers has been dreadful, but I feel like he's still the upside pick there. Like, all it takes is for City to concede once away at West Ham, and you're up against it. So, yeah, I would say Rodgers. Start Rodgers or Krupi. I think then I would go Rodgers. What's actually a little bit scary is Rodgers got a brace in the reverse fixture of his next 2 games. So he's got Man United away, West Ham home. In game week 17, he got a brace home to Man United. Game week 16, he got a brace away versus West Ham. Take out Alisson to Raya and Mateus to Richards. I wouldn't sell Alisson. So Raya had blanks in 31. So does Richards. I think actually the two players you got there are great this week. I know Alisson's a doubt, but if you've got like Dubravka backup keeper, then that's fine. And Mateus Nunes has to start after getting a rest against Real Madrid. Yeah, I'm going to sell Haaland. But yeah, Slot didn't give like a clear answer on Alisson. He did say he's hopeful, and he said it. I think he said it twice. He's like, I am hopeful, or something like that. He said, "What did he say? I'm expecting him. I'm expecting him to train later," something like that. So I think he's got a chance, a good chance to play him. So I would leave it. I'd leave Alisson. I'd leave Mateus Nunes. FPL Rowie says, on a bench boost, Munoz to who? He's got Hill, Konate, Timber, Gabriel, no wildcard. Depending on how your team is going to be in 31, you could go like Anderson or Tete, but honestly, I don't think I'd bench boost this week. I just don't like the uncertainty on some players. Like it's not out of the question for White to start over Timber. Konate probably could do with a rest. He probably does start, but maybe there's a small chance of Gomez. I don't want to fearmonger, but it just feels like a dodgy week because it's your bench boosting sandwiched between two European legs for a lot of teams, and the first legs went really badly for English teams. So it's a bit of an unpredictable game week, so I don't think I'd bench boost that. Yeah, I think I would just leave it, honestly. Snell says, love the stream as always. Thank you, appreciate you. Thank you for saying that. An unknown guy says, hi, would you sell Rodgers for Gakpo/Verts or Zoboslai? No, I don't think I would buy any of those three selling Rodgers. I know Rodgers has been like pretty useless recently. The injuries haven't helped. McGinn, Tielemans, Camara. But I don't like the idea of buying Gakpo Verts for the next two. Zoboslai, if I really was going to buy any of those three. But I would keep Rodgers. You know, unless you were buying someone like a Salah. Like I'm selling Rodgers as part of a move for Salah, so it's a bit different. But Zoboslai, I'm not so keen on there. Tyro says start two out of Anderson, Semenyo, Senesi and Hill. I'd give Semenyo the start there. I think it could be overthinking to like risk benching him when he might start. So Semenyo and Senesi. Blue Max says Rice, Rodgers, Mane, Ekatike, Tavernier and Stack. Yeah, I like that. I do like that actually, yeah. That looks good, Blue Mac. Like Rice has got Everton home, and obviously like he could punish selling, and that I am thinking at the back of my head. But you get an Ekatike in, you got Tavernier, who's got a great fixture. I think it's worth it, and you're selling Mane as well. He also blanks in 31. That looks good. Yeah, go for it. Bibley says start two out of Alex, Scott, Wilson, Anderson, and Anderson. I would start Forrest Anderson, Alex Scott. I'd probably go Anderson and Alex Scott, honestly, but I wouldn't. It's between Wilson and Scott. I wouldn't start Fulham's Anderson. It's just in case like Wilson gets benched. I'd probably just go Anderson and Scott there, just about, yeah. Calla says start two out of Hill, Senesi and Krupi. I would go Senesi and Krupi. Yeah, chase the upside of Krupi. Big upside if he starts. And he's in predicted lineup, so I think he's got a fair chance, Krupi. So I'd play him if I had him. Double defense is fine as well, honestly. Like you're in a good position regardless, but I would say Senesi, Krupi. Joel says Haaland to Ekatike, Enzo to Semenyo, and Gw to João Pedro. You've got 5 transfers, 0.3 mil. No, I wouldn't buy Semenyo. It just doesn't make sense when he blanks in 31. Can you afford Salah? and then don't buy João Pedro. Otherwise, I don't think I'll do those moves. I mean, if you really were set on doing those other two moves, Enzo to just like a Tavernier looks good. Or I don't know if you haven't got a Bruno, that's even better. But I just wouldn't buy Semenyo. Colorblind Engineer says 4 transfers, Haaland and Rice to Salah and Ekitike. Or Haaland, Rice, Alderete and Gummerson to Ekitike, Zobo, Timber, Gabriel. I've only got Raya from Arsenal. Well, Arsenal blank of 31, so I just wouldn't be buying any Arsenal players or anyone with blanks in 31 this week. Yeah, I'd say the first one. Salah and Ekitike. That's the one. Go for that. And then keep your other 2 transfers. Roll them over. How many free transfers have you all got? So 59% say start O'Reilly. 41% Anderson. So it's pretty close. In my head, I just thought maybe they're both slightly iffy for minutes. I think Anderson is a little bit more secure this week, but O'Reilly's got the massive upside. Like, obviously he didn't play last week, but I have to remember how good he was the 3 games before that. 6 points, 17, 13. He does need a rest though, so... yeah, I think I'll leave O'Reilly in. But I'm going to make my moves like in 10 minutes just before the deadline, just in case there's any early team news. I just asked the Liverpool guy, but I think it's super unlikely a day before the game. Question from Novus, who says, start Enzo or Anderson, Oscar? I'm more keen on Enzo. Start Enzo or Anderson. It's like, what would you rather chase? A goal involvement for Enzo, or just take the safe defcons from Anderson? And who, to be fair, he scored last game week as well. I think that's really 50-50. Yeah, I think Enzo's fine. Like, that is a 50-50, so just go with your gut there. Anderson's likely to get you defcon, but that's only 2 points. But if Enzo can bag a goal or something, he's got the higher upside, so that's fine. Yeah, go for the upside. Holly says, great stream as always. Cash or Hall to Hill? I think Cash is a late fitness test, is he not? Hall is great in 31, so I wouldn't sell Hall. I would sell Cash, Holly, if I was going to sell either of those. Obviously, it depends on, like, if he doesn't play, who you've got instead in your team. Because if you've got good depth, I don't think it's that bad to keep Cash. But yeah, if you wanted to sell one, definitely Cash to Hill. Itcha Buini says, Rogers to Tavernier for free. I think it depends how you're looking in 31, because it's quite a luxury move. As bad as Rogers has been, he's got West Ham home in 31. Like, he's still a fairly handy asset for the next couple game weeks. So I think McGinn might be back, is he not, for 31? Might be making that up. It is a small upgrade. It just, as long as it doesn't leave you shortchanged in a 31 to get 11 players out. But yeah, I think it's not bad. I personally wouldn't do it. The only reason I'm doing it is to fund Salah. No, I'm not rolling. For those asking, I'm doing, it'll be Haaland to Ekitike, Rice to Salah, and then I'll captain Salah, and then Rogers to Tavernier. But I'm just waiting as late as possible because, you know, just in case there's some team news that could affect what I do. But let me get it ready in advance. That's a good idea. Haaland, Ekitike, Rice, Salah. And then Rogers, Tavernier. But I'm just going to like wait, like just in case there's any last minute news that could change what I do. Just need to think about what I'd do if there's news. So like if TK didn't start, what would I do then? Would I roll or do João Pedro? I think then I would go João Pedro. And if there's new Salah doesn't start, then I would roll. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't think there's much chance we'll get something, but definitely if there's any news, I'll let you know straight away. Whether it's like FPL Main Road on Twitter or maybe Tony. Nothing at the moment. Right, so the transfers are ready there anyway. So Akshat says, do I do Timber to Van Dijk because I don't have the bench cover? Yeah, I'd say that's worth it, Akshat. Just in case Timber doesn't play, maybe White gets a start. Yeah, I like that move. Tube says, Enzo and Haaland to Salah, João Pedro. I've got Ekatike or Enzo to Dango. Yeah, so I think, like I was saying earlier, Haaland to Salah really depends what kind of manager you're on, your like risk tolerance on like volatility, because if Haaland starts, he's got a brilliant record against West Ham. He could bag a hat-trick and Salah blanks and it's killer. But maybe for all we know, like Haaland doesn't start, Salah bags a goal, maybe it's just a penalty, but it's still good gains, and you know, João Pedro's form continues. It could really go either way. My gut feeling is it's worth it, so that's what I'm planning to do, and I'm going to do it in a few minutes time. James says -4 for Haaland to Ekatike and Szoboszlai to Salah, wildcard 32. I don't think I'd do that for a -4, James. The Haaland to Salah switch, I wouldn't do it for a -4. I would do it for free. Just don't think it's worth a hit. But if you're really set on it, like, fair enough. But yeah, I wouldn't do it for a hit personally. Phantom Tweaker says Wirtz, Hill and Raul bench 1. I think it'd have to be Wirtz, just because I'm not sure how likely he starts, if I'm honest. I've seen him in quite a few predictor lineups not start him. And to be fair, I think Raul's got a fair chance of not playing him. Captain Poll, yeah, good shout. Let's do one. Who's your captain? Because Raul's dad passed away this week, Fulham tweeted. So condolences to him. And just, you wouldn't put it past him. Like, be fair enough if he just wants to miss this game. So he'll either start or not play at all. So Haaland, Decker, TK, and Bruno, and other. FaZe says 2 from Lafay, Elliot Anderson, Wilson, and Alderete. I would say Elliot Anderson and I guess Lafay. Lafay over Wilson just about. Yeah, Lafay and Anderson. Joel says, I've got 5 free transfers, 0.3 mil, so I've got to sell Haaland to make any moves. Five free transfers, 0.3, so I've got to sell Haaland to make any moves. Well, you could do Haaland to Ekatike and then sell a midfielder to Salah. I think Tavernier is a really good enabler if you need to free up the funds for that. Like for me, it's Haaland to Ekatike, Rice to Salah, and then Rodgers to Tavernier to free up the money. CH says 5 minutes, check your benches. Check your benches, check your captain. So you could do that, Joel, and just spend a few of those on the likes of Ekatike if you haven't got him, or Thiago's worth buying, João Pedro's worth buying, Salah in potentially. But I don't know the rest of your team. You could just do something like Ndiaye to Tavernier if you've got Ndiaye. I'm not sure what Tom's doing this week. He tweeted last night, said he said he's looking at Ndiaye to Tavernier. He said he'd called on Salah a bit, so I don't know if he's buying Salah. But he does have Szoboszlai, so I think it was a bit more awkward for him, but maybe that's not the reason. LAS playback, Palmer to Wilson, Strand Larson to Thiago, -4 or roll. No, I would roll. I wouldn't sell Palmer. Don't like selling Palmer. Strand Larson's got Leeds home. JH says, I've got the same team as you, but Enzo instead of Rodgers and Lafay instead of Rice. 3 free transfers, -1.2 in the bank. Thanks, Oscar. Minus 1.2? What do you mean? Enzo instead of Rogers, Lefay instead of Rice, 3 free transfers. Maybe you roll them. Probably just roll in that situation if you can't afford it. If you've got Haaland and Bruno, like I was saying at the start of the stream, I think I just wouldn't chance it and just go Bruno captain. If you've got Salah and Bruno, then I think you just go for it with Salah. Just because of how many players Spurs have got out. They've got like 13 players that are flagged right now. Captain poll is up, so get your votes in. A few minutes till the deadline, so I'm going to lock my moves in. I don't think we're going to get any news, as I was saying. Because City just play way later tonight. Liverpool play tomorrow. Right, we'll have to pause Super Chats because I need to lock in my moves in a minute. Wrong screen, that one. Billy says start Enzo or Elliot Anderson. I think go for the upside of Enzo. Play Enzo. Anderson's probably likely to get defcons, but like Enzo, if he can spike a goal or an assist, he's got a higher ceiling, definitely. I know Anderson did just get 12 points, but I'd rather Enzo if I had to pick one. Warm up says start Rogers or Ryan. Play Ryan, he's got Burnley. Right. Confirmed transfers. Salah, Tavernier, Ekitike. Done. Salah captain. Bruno vice. I don't want to leave it too late, like, 'cause, you know, remember when the servers like crashed that time? That still haunts me. Like if the game just crashed. Gameweek 30. Right, here we go. Let's quickly post the team. Just want to make sure I don't miss any super chats. Yeah, all good. So Ekitike, so Haaland to Ekitike. Rice, let me just check that's all right. Yeah, refresh that. Just wanted to refresh and make sure it all saved then, because you can never be too sure. And then it was Rice to Salah, and it was Rogers, Tavernier. That's it. Haaland to Ekitike, Rice to Salah, Rogers to Tavernier. And those are the moves. I'll just post my rank as well. Right, posted. Sorry, I had to switch over to try and post it in time, but I posted it basically on the deadline that time. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Big moves this week. Salah captain. No, it didn't, Moses, but I did answer earlier, unless you sent another one. Good luck all. What did everyone do this week in the end? Who did you captain? What transfer did you make? So at least I got something to cheer on now in the 3 o'clock games, which is Tavernier. Salah's come in, Ekitike's come in, Bruno's vice, Salah's captain now. Tavernier in for Rogers, it was Salah in for Rice, and Ekitike in for Haaland. And we'll play the outro song. You did Keen to Hill, that's nice, I like that. João Pedro captain, good luck, I like it. Salah's benched, it's possible, honestly, it's possible, but you could say the same about Haaland. Like, people are going to be biased with their own side of it. someone that doesn't own Salah will say he could be benched, and they might be right, but someone that doesn't own Haaland could say the same, or maybe someone that does own Haaland might think he has a chance. It's a really unpredictable week, so let's just hope to get lucky this week. We'll leave it there. Good luck, everyone. Thank you as always for tuning into the Deadline stream. Great turnout today. I hope you smash it this game week. Do hit subscribe below before you go. That's it from me. Focal out.
De Bruyne's corner. Haaland! Goal! Salah. It's Mo Salah. It's Mo